From the dawn of civilization, humanity has yearned to move faster, reach further. It began with a single step, marking our first journey into the unknown. From horse hooves thundering across plains, we learned to harness nature's power. To ships crossing vast oceans, connecting worlds that seem forever apart. Steel and steam forged our path forward, machinery breathing life into our dreams. Until railways united nations, iron horses racing toward tomorrow. Then our minds took flight, breaking free from physical bounds. Through mathematics, through science, unlocking the universe's deepest secrets, into digital realms and artificial minds where imagination knows no limits. This is our journey from earthbound dreamers to creators of new worlds. This is Flux, for the people, by the people.
We are live. Davey, how the hell are you, brother?
Good morning. I'm sitting outside. Lovely day here in Canada, so yeah, doing good. How you doing?
I didn't know we were allowed to take these calls outside. They
Um,
keep me in either a basement or an office. That's it. That's all
Look,
they don't let me leave.
Dan, when you're writing the policies, it's fun thing that you can add things to it that portray to me. So I added somewhere in there that I can sit outside to do these type of calls.
I'm gonna have to contact HR. I don't know about that.
He's
Well,
right here. So
yeah. Well, everybody, hey, thanks for jumping on today. I got back from a couple days of vacation. It was really nice. I got a little tan. Look at that shit.
just
And you
yeah,
can
you're
see where
still wearing your glasses.
my sunglasses were at there. Actually, that's vitiligo. I like messing with people when they say that. I have vitiligo around my eyes, and they'll be like, "Oh, you still got your sunglasses?" I'm like, "No, that's a chronic immune disease that I've suffered with my whole life." And watch their face go like, "Oh."
Oh,
Anyway, yeah. Anyway, couple housekeeping items before we get started. We got a shit ton of people in here today, so I'm asking everybody to do your duty. Go out, like, share, repost, X it, whatever the frick it's called. Just go do it. If you see something cool or you hear something cool in here, go post it on X. The more attention we garner on X, it's better for the project. More people will see this video, and this is important stuff. We're doing it different today. Today is a straight AMA. We don't have anything to present to you guys. Like everyone else in the crypto world right now, there's a lot of uncontent folks, right? Because we've suffered through about a good 8 months worth of a bear market here for the most part, unless you're Bitcoin, which Bitcoin's doing just fine. And that little bit of sideways chop, not investment advice, is always good for BTC when you're investing into altcoins as well. Not investment advice. But we wanted to make sure that everybody understood loud and clear exactly where we're at with Flux. The state of the union with Flux is rock solid. We are continuing to build. We're continuing to develop. We've moved into a phase where we're beginning to talk with our enterprise clients. If you haven't checked out what Flux AI is doing, check it out, man. Flux AI Enterprise is absolutely insane. We have a lot of folks, especially in the healthcare arena, that are really looking to launch that, which is great for the entire project. We're continuing to work on explainer videos, so I'm pleased to share that Geek of All Trades will be doing a learner series, about 20 videos for us. It will be from everything of how to launch a Zelcore wallet, to how to deploy a node, to how to utilize Flux AI. He's well liked in the space. He's a great explainer. If you haven't watched his videos, I highly recommend that. We got our orange. Yeah, I got the orange. Well, these lights don't help, man. I'm not really orange. I'm not Trump. I'm not turning into Trump.
so we got Orange Man in the house. Is that what
Yeah,
Alex just said?
that's messed up, Alex. It's these lights.
It's true.
It's
It's
these
true.
lights. I'll just start doing this all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, on to the next thing. So yeah, we've got a lot of good stuff coming down the pipe. Our marketing team has really started to engage. We have our Engage client that's been launched in Discord. If you haven't signed up for it, I highly recommend you do. You get a little bit of Flux if you're
Huge.
It's
Sorry.
huge. There is none bigger. There is none better. So yeah, I mean, lots of stuff coming in terms of marketing. We also joined, and I'm going to screw the name of this up, Gaxley or Galaxy or whatever the hell it is, the campaign that Cadena's doing. So our good friends over at Cadena, who we work with hand in hand all the time, I would say, if you see Cadena, you see Flux, and if you see Flux, you see Cadena. They offered us to be part of their program, and we took them up on it, and we're offering them to be part of a couple other programs that we're doing in the near future as well. So pretty awesome. Pretty awesome things to participate in.
Those are the good morning guys, aren't they?
Yeah. Kind of got on my nerves at first, and I
just
kind
a little
blew off about it a little bit. But I'm like
Yeah.
I'm like, get off my grass. You know what I mean? Like, I got to remember that people are,
There's two old men sitting on a porch. Like,
yeah.
"Ah."
And they are verified real users. They
Yeah.
are not bots,
Yeah.
because people asked about that as well. But part of that project is you have to basically be a real person to get in. And, we have a really good verification process as well. So they may not be, what's the word I want to use for? They may not be educated in the nuances of Flux. So it's our job as a community to make sure that we share with them why it's important. And I've already got at least 20 people that have reached out to me directly about the project that came via that, whatever the hell that thing is. Two old guys from the Muppets. Arr! That's pretty much me, man.
We'll leave it to HR.
Yeah, leave it to HR. So, if you have questions for us, that's what we're here for. We will stay as long as we need to answer any questions that you guys got. Nothing is off limits. Feel free to ask anything. If anybody knows me, I'm the most transparent guy you know. I'd rather say it in public and say it truthfully than tell you something that that you may want to hear but isn't the truth. So I don't have a reason to really care for any of that. And by the way, complaints also often help with improving the project overall. So, all right. So I have some questions that were submitted from Telegram. I don't know if I can put them up, Davey. I'll just have to read them off, maybe.
I can, if put them in the chat, in our chat, and then I can create a banner for them quickly on the fly.
Oh God, I suck at this shit on the fly. Okay, hold on. 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. Everyone else should be putting their questions in queue, please. We've got a shit ton of people on here today, so let's make sure we get good questions.
All right.
All right, let's take some questions. Let's take some questions that we have in the chat already, Davey, and we'll go from there.
There you go.
Any thoughts on setting up an interview with Newsmax? I'd be open to it for sure, and I know that our buddies over there, he does Hawk. Mike Hawk is over there. He does some stuff with Newsmax. They have reached out to me recently, so I'll definitely put it in a queue. You're going to see more higher level engagement. We wanted to get our website done first, so I'm pleased to announce. See, here comes Leaky Dan again. I'm pleased to announce we have a brand new website coming within like a week, and it is basically tits. It is beautiful. And in fact, tits is an old term. It doesn't mean boobs. It means it's perfect. So just in case, I don't want any of the cancel culture coming after me. It's an old school 80s, 90s reference. Okay, guys? So yeah, we've got a new website coming. So really for us to, push a lot of what we want to do, we definitely needed that website. So I think we're there now. You're actually going to see all of the websites become new. So everyone will be refreshed. We've concentrated highly on SEO optimization. We've improved our stats on SEO dramatically. I'd say at least 100x from where we were.
Yeah, we did a lot of work on that. Different domain names, splitting things up.
We had
a lot of work goes into
we
these
had
things.
We had a unique issue because we used, hindsight's 2020. We used the run on Flux in the URL names that are made for when you launch an application, which totally fucked with our SEO. So we finally figured out how to get that, because we were getting SEO from everything that came in from all these different things. So a lot of times people were saying, oh, it's a scam site because it's got all these reports coming in. So anybody that reported an application to a provider or anything like that, we ended up getting looped into it. So we've changed some stuff around. It's run on Flux. We moved away from the IO. It's the .com now. We've realigned our SEO optimization. We actually hired a company to come in and help Shannon and Betty and that team work on that, because we've got to get in front of people. Our ad campaigns have started. You'll probably start to see them here within the next few weeks. We've put a lot of focus on X and Google. So you'll see Google ads. You'll also see, some Flux ads coming through. A host of different products. I think we're sticking with Flux OS to start, and then we move from there. So that was a long ass answer and probably 10 questions that you didn't ask, Ghosty, but the answer is yes. I would definitely be up to working with them. Impacts of
Question out of the
price.
discourse, because I want to make sure that those questions get answered too today. So let's take some of
Impact.
those as well.
Yeah, there was a big question that I pinned in general in Discord too that I want to go over. Can you bring that over, Davey?
That's the ones.
This is the ones? Okay. Impact of price decline on node development. With Flux's token pricing falling, nodes may drop off, risking network security and ecosystem operation. What contingency plans or dynamic mechanisms, and I think he went on to say, do you have in place to help with this? Well, if you haven't read about progressive node rewards, those are kicking in just prior to the release of the halving. Now, people having, not having. Okay, so people look at that as a negative because those rewards will go down, but it's not. It's a positive. Scarcity drives, any proof of work project. If Bitcoin didn't have its halving, you wouldn't see where it's at today, and it'll continue to do so going up. And because we kind of, with the same consensus mechanisms that we use with Bitcoin, we're kind of subject to it. Now, we're not Bitcoin. So that'll be the first thing that everybody says. They'll be like, well, that you're not Bitcoin. You don't have the volume. We don't have it yet. We don't have the development volume yet, but we've prepared for it ahead of time. People take nodes offline. The people that keep their nodes online, they're going to get incentivized even higher. People that take their mining rigs offline, now they're missing out on proof of use of work. They're missing out on the mining rewards, and they're also missing out on some of the big customers that are coming our way this year. And I can tell you right now, I can't tell you who it is. All I can tell you is 3/4 of our network is going to be gone pretty much overnight. So we need to plan for scaling, and that's exactly what PNR does. And I don't talk a lot about price, guys. I just don't. The market is what the market does. And, I know people get concerned when the price is down and stuff like that. That doesn't stop our development. That doesn't stop us from building. Look, we built at 1 penny. We built at $4. We built at 38 cents. We built at 27 cents. It doesn't, to us, we're just building. And we're going to continue to keep building. So none of that could ever impact us. Now, as far as the security of the network, we've already planned exactly what we need to maintain the network. We also, by bringing on progressive node rewards, will make sure we incentivize the folks. And maybe just giving you an idea of how progressive node rewards work will put your mind at ease. So essentially, anybody that deploys on that network will get additional flux on top of their block reward for providing a high level of availability and uptime. So think of it now, if you're a miner and you're mining, you have a difficulty algorithm. Essentially, as the miners come online, the difficulty goes up, and it continues to keep going like this to make sure that everything stays in check. It's exact opposite with progressive node rewards. As that network starts to go like this, I'm sorry, I used the wrong. They go down. The rewards go down as the difficulty increases, right? Not necessarily, but you know what I'm saying. And along comes Flux. Flux, as that usage of the network goes up, this goes up. It matches it. So as demand increases, payouts increase. You get an increased amount of flux. Make sure you keep your nodes up, functioning, and ready to go. We just had somebody, and this is on the edge side of the world, but we just had somebody come in today and wanted a shit ton of graphics cards, and we've been working with them on that as well. It's the old adage, very slowly, then all of a sudden. And, we've positioned ourselves in a very good spot for long-term development. And the people that we're working with now on the enterprise side, we do have, I don't know if you guys know or not, but we did add a managed service component to Influx to help people onboard. You can do it yourself or you can do it through us, but either way you can do it. And I highly recommend people to create competitors of that. Perhaps do an onboarding service and sell that. We have Grid currently, which I have invested in myself personally. Grid is a wonderful little program that helps walk you through the process and deploy on either Flux or Akash. So pretty cool shit happening there with that. So build businesses on top of this. Don't let us do all the work and have all the fun. Your communities are we've already have people that are building similar setups to what Influx has done. And I think what you're going to see very soon is, one of Davey's big things has been working with Web 2 cloud providers like an OVH or a Lumen or something like that about being a reseller for Flux as well. So at some point, you're going to see Web 2 providers actually give the option to deploy in Web 3 and on Flux as well. So I can't give a ton of insight into that. All I can tell you is it's happening. So, in the end, everybody likes the price to be up. I do too, because people give me a lot less shit, and they stay off my fucking ass to let me do my work. But these are all. If you're new to this, if you're new to Flux and you've come in recently and you're concerned, this is how the process goes. It just does. You can pull out every chart under the sun, but when the market's ready, the market's ready. And we've seen it where we ran from 75 cents up to $4 and stabilized at 2 something. Then we were down to around $1. Then we're back down again. The entire market looks about the same if you lay all, other than BTC. So I don't give investment advice. I don't talk about price. I got my little Post-it notes sticking here with my targeted price. And it's going to stay there till we're there, right? So we are all dedicated to making sure, as a co-founder, as a leader, there's been a lot of people saying you should put your own money in and buy the price up. That's market manipulation. And one thing that our number one rule at Influx is nobody goes to jail. We should never do something ethically immoral as messing with, and there's a lot of projects out there that are doing that, but we won't do that. We won't do what these meme coins are doing. We won't do what these shit coins are doing. We're just not going to do that. We're not going to pay some shady ass motherfucker in China to, nothing against China. I'm just saying they're usually in China. We're not going to pay them to pump the price up and then shit all over retail. We're just not going to do that. So, the people in this project are my family. That's the way I look at it. And I would not do something like that to my family, and I won't do something like that to you. One, it ruins your opportunity. If somebody would come in and try to pump that price up, it takes away the advantage that you have to buy Flux at a quarter. So, you buy Flux at a quarter, and I can testify, and I see them in here, even in this chat thread, people that became millionaires the last time Flux, made its peak, and maybe moved to Puerto Rico and met a nice girl, and now I little stash. Bottom line is the people that were there then are still here, and because they know they've been through this ride. I've been here since 2011. This is all par for the course. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm going to say about price. Invest at your own risk. Never invest more than what, because I've seen people saying they were going to sell their cars or their houses or whatever. Don't fucking do that. Invest what you can lose. Be smart about it. Have your exit points so you make some money. Take your initial investment off the table, all that kind of good shit. Don't pretend you're a fucking day trader and come in and get shit mixed here, because when Flux decides to go, it's going to take a lot of people out. And that's okay. So it's the circle of life. That's the only thing I'm going to say. And again, nothing that I said is investment advice. I don't do that. So I'm just giving you my opinion, and I don't give two flying shits what the price is. In a nutshell, what is Influx? So if you think Bitcoin, you think Lightning Labs. Essentially, Lightning Labs is building on top of Bitcoin and with Bitcoin to create payment channels, and they're going to work together in that kind of like symbiotic relationship. Bitcoin's Bitcoin. There's no people over here. It's just Bitcoin, right? They don't have a marketing team. They don't have a business development team. If you want to use it, you got to build a company on top of it. Flux and Influx. Flux is a company that we started, the co-founders put together, that would give us the ability to build on top of Flux and work with other businesses. People don't want to work with a mysterious entity that's just hanging out there. And I would say the most of people in the enterprise world, or even in the retail world, are tell me more. I love Bitcoin, by the way, but it's hard for them because they see the price fluctuations. They see the sometimes the culture is a hit. And we're just not going to do that. So Influx is our professional side of the house that addresses businesses, right? Works with businesses, develops projects. Every project you see running on Flux, whether it's SSP, Zelcore, Coin Request, Flux Edge, Flux AI, Flux OS, which is now
Flux OS.
What is it?
It's still Flux OS.
Yeah, Flux OS, but we're
Oh,
changing.
you mean Arcane?
No. Well, yeah, that too. But we are in the process of merging some of these pieces together, so they look a little. Eventually, Flux Edge will just become run on Flux as well. There'll be an Edge component to it. Flux OS will just be run on Flux as well. There'll be an OS component to it. But and we're working on bringing our marketplace together in one spot as well. Matter of fact, today showed me a little sneak peek of something he's working on the other day, and I about pooped my pants. I was like, yeah, this is fucking cool. So it's essentially the business entity that develops on top of Flux. Anybody can do this. You can start a company tomorrow. You can do exactly what we're doing at Influx, and you can deploy. You can do reselling. You can do, app development. I mean, look at Grid, or you look at
Flux Runner.
Flux Runner. These are all.
Bunny did it back in the day. He had something he was building out. I don't know what happened with the guy, but he was building stuff out.
There's still a bunch of people out there doing it.
Yep.
I do know that. So, I recommend anybody to do that. I mean, it's easier for us to control things. We also do our payroll out of there. We also do all of our other things. So it's really
taxes, just the business relationships. Like it's hard for any business to interact with a blockchain because who are they interacting with, and what jurisdiction do they fall under? What kind of compliances do these people have? If there's no business behind it, there's really nothing they can actually leverage to really work with these folks. And traditional companies like to know who they're working with. They like to know if they want to put a face to a certain thing. A pure blockchain does not have any of that. So that's the reality of things. Invoices, being able to bill people. Those are all things that need to be thought of, and Influx is basically taking care of that. That's it in a nutshell.
In a nutshell, yeah. In a nutshell, and the bottom line is you have to have a professional face to move forward. I mean, Davey can attest to this. We met with a healthcare company the other day, and we now have an actual physical office in Miami, Florida, which is I'm heading down there next week or the following week or maybe the following week. I don't know. I'm heading down there at some point. But we do have a physical presence here in the United States. We have the UK company, which is the main company. Eventually, that's going to transition to Florida. We're going to keep the UK company open. We're opening one in Canada and possibly Singapore as well. So we're more global. It doesn't make sense for us to be rooted in one particular area. And by the way, most of this can be done and we never have to step foot in that country, which is pretty cool. So we keep kind of, we've never had an office till 2 months ago, and as of today, there hasn't been anybody there. You know what I mean? Like I gotta go down and set the shit up. So it's like at some point I got to do that.
The other thing that why we have an influx now as well is policies, compliancy, and then you can't get compliancy or policies on tied to a blockchain. That is just not a thing. There's no regulations for that. There's not, so we have to set up a proper company. Then been 2 weeks now that I've been working on compliancy and all of those documents for this large company that wants to utilize us. That's one of the reasons we have Influx is be able to answer those type of questions.
Yeah, even something simple like SOC 2, or which we're working on as well, or PHI, HIPAA, all that kind of stuff. We have to have a face with it. They just won't work with it.
Even a simple question: what kind of badge system do you use to make sure your offices are locked down? It's going to be damn hard to answer as a blockchain. So I don't have that question or the answer to that question just yet, but that's a different story. But things like that is compliancy reason. Like I had a worksheet of 18, 19 tabs full of rows of questions to answer. And if we would be purely the blockchain, it would have been really hard to answer those questions. Because of Influx, we were able to answer these questions and probably onboard this customer now. So
Yeah,
Good
the
stuff.
nice thing about Flux is it's as cypherpunk as you want or as corporate as you need. It's just the way it is, and that's different from any other chain out there, because we have a corporate facing entity that will work with large companies to help them learn and onboard the process, and we also have the cypherpunks who they don't want to do shit. They don't want you to know where they're from. They want to be completely anonymous, and you can do that as well. So I think at least in my opinion, Flux is the most decentralized project in the entire crypto space. Even
Yeah, and if you
Bitcoin.
want to know even Bitcoin. And if you want to know the correlation flux influx, quite simple. Influx is a technology company that uses all sorts of technologies, going from Kubernetes, from SUSE with RKE2 to Flux, which is a blockchain decentralized cloud, and we utilize that as well for our customers. So we basically think about it this way: we're one of the larger customers of the Flux network in a certain way, because we're managing services for other customers and we're utilizing Flux for that. If that makes sense.
Okay.
All
Next
right, more
question.
questions.
I threw a bunch of shit up there, Davey. I don't know if you're going to parse them out and put them up or what you want to do there, but I put.
I'm just going top to bottom here. We're tackling them all.
In the past, you've spoken on potential influx doing Flux token buybacks. Any updates on that you can share? I mean, we're buying Flux. It would be insane not to put in some of our resources into Flux. We don't intend to advertise it or pump it up. We're not going to go on like GameStop did today and say they bought a bunch of Bitcoin. Congratulations to GameStop. Smart move on their part. But we're not going to be out there telling people. That would be, again, false manipulation, and that'd be market manipulation. If we tell you we're going to buy 5 million Flux, you guys are going to really anticipate that price going up, and we don't do that. And by the way, normal investors don't do that. They do an OTC. They'll go directly to exchanges or an OTC provider, and they'll buy their Flux that way. When I do a buy, 95% of my buys come from OTC. I don't ever enter the market unless I'm somewhere and I can't do what I need to do. I'll just go into, Zelcore and snag some real quick and, shit like that. But 95% of my buys all come OTC. And your institutional investors would do the same. So if people are complaining about retail price, institutional investors haven't stopped. They're just using a different mechanism for onboarding than what you are. And by the way, that's how the stock market does it as well. I mean, this is, the same people that are market makers for Flux are the same people that make markets for the stock market. That's just the way it is. They want to get in and get under the radar at a lower price than, manipulating the price up on themselves. You know what I mean? That just doesn't make sense. So, and yes, exchanges have two sets of books. I know for a fact that they do. So, their OTC scenario is probably the best if you want a big purchase of Flux or sell. If you don't want to manipulate the price, or you have a lot of Flux you want to move, take it OTC. We have a bunch of OTC vendors that we work with.
All right.
So that's all I got to say about that. Have you gotten enough ideas from the Flux Discord bullpen channel to start implementing? We've got some wonderful ideas.
Yeah, there's some really good ideas in there.
I'd say a good 50% of the ideas are on our short list. Problem is we got a long list, and it's getting longer as we go. We're in terms of our roadmap, we're quite a bit ahead of our roadmap. So that might help us in the end to be able to add some of these things on. But to continue with ease of use, one of the big things was somebody said we need explainer videos. I want to be able to understand by watching a video how to walk through these processes and then get to the end. And that came from the bullpen. We instituted that almost immediately. So, and that's where Geek of All Trades comes into play, as we talked about earlier today. So yes, keep the ideas coming in bullpen, please. Guys, do we have a treasury to survive the bear market? We do have a bit of a foundation, a nest egg that we put aside. We're not worried about a bear market. The development will keep coming. So whether the price is a nickel or it's $25, it's still developing. We've been very good stewards of our resources at Influx, and we've made sure that the things that we're doing to help develop the project will yield greatly. And this isn't our first bear market. Is that really your picture, dude? Are you really like that jacked, just kind of hanging out there?
Yeah,
I got to ask. But yeah, we have resources to get through a bear market. We've done it before, and we'll do it again. It's just the ebbs and flows. How do you see Flux becoming more sustainable in the future with all the energy compute requirements? I see Flux actually kind of leading the pack because we don't, they're scrambling to build data centers right now. And the biggest thing is the sourcing power. And, by us being able to distribute our infrastructure, they don't have to worry about that. And, most of the presentations I give to folks who are thinking about building data centers or something like that, they immediately understand why there's a value add with Flux. And us being part of the NVIDIA NPR, right, Davey? NPR
NPN.
program? NPN. I can never remember all these damn acronyms.
All good.
It's helped us meet other potential clients that, were essentially sharing with us, why it would make more sense for them to work with us than try to go out and build these data centers. And by the way, the folks we're going after, they don't necessarily have infrastructure like the healthcare entities. They got decent infrastructure, but they don't have innovative infrastructure, and that's what we're bringing to the table.
It's awesome. It's often Amazon, right? Amazon, Azure. Those are the ones they normally work with, and that's also why. Going back to that previous question for Influx, that's also why Influx was created, is basically have an entity that we can start, positioning closer and closer to those big boys to kind of be to offset that monopoly that these guys have. Regarding this question, that's also why we have inception partners like, for instance, Term AI, where these guys are finding solutions where they can do two things. For instance, warm up your house and at the same time provide compute power back to the folks who need it. So there's all sorts of things that we're trying to find and find solutions for. Either we're doing it ourselves or we're finding the partners who are building it out. So like Dan says, with the NVIDIA partnership, we have a lot of connections and a lot of folks we're talking with that are doing similar things. Either it's from reusing the heat that they generate. I know there's some projects here in Manitoba. Although we have a lot of fires at the moment, so there's a lot of heat being produced, but we're trying to find solutions here, even in the middle of nowhere. We're trying to find ways to make it more affordable, to get the compute, and at the same time keep our decentralization in mind and make it affordable. There's a lot of things happening in the background.
Yep.
All right, keep going.
Any news on the Flux node collateral halving? What the tiers will be and hardware specs and updates. Vultr has those hardware specs, and it'll probably be done a bit before the halving to try to get everything all in line, because PRN is going to go on board, and then you're going to have your collateral halving, and then you're going to have your actual halving. So we're trying to coordinate all these things to run concurrent. That way, we're going to go through about 3 months of change approximately, and then we'll come out the other side of it, with good. And we will also, we're also looking at releasing our Cirrus nodes, which are our smaller collateral nodes that you can participate in almost easy. More edge compute shit really than anything. So that's going to look a little different. We're bringing back the Banff. If you guys are Banff fans, we're bringing back the Banff because people, love that shit, and it will look a little different than the rest of tier nodes because we're going to be doing something different with it. So just hang loose. The Banffs are coming again. I'm a huge fan of the Banff, man. I created that name, and everybody was like, "What's Banff mean?"
I don't know the original titles anymore, but Banff is one of them that will never. Yeah, that one sticks. That one stuck.
I think Little Stash came up with a broadly available multifunction.
Sure, that's what that
nodes.
means.
Yeah, broadly available multifunction nodes.
Sure, that's what that means. Yep.
Yep.
We all know what that means.
I figure if Elon can have a big fucking rocket, we can definitely have a BAMF, right?
More drinking. Oh god.
I like big nodes, and I cannot lie. So yeah,
Yeah.
that'll though you're definitely going to hear more information coming within the next 2 months about that. We were going to try to get through a little bit of summer. It's everybody's on vacation. They're doing different shit. Dog days of summer. You know what I mean? So for us, we feel like it's best if we target the fall time to push all this. And by the way, that's when our halving comes as well. So
Well, and it's also to get us ready for that big customer, right? Just so you guys know what that situation is. I'm not going to disclose who it is, but they've done the technical due diligence already. So they've actually tried network at this point. They liked what they saw, so that's a good thing. So now we're going through the security pieces and the policies and all that fun stuff. After that, we're basically starting to think of rolling things out on the network. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun when and it's gonna be a big surprise. It's gonna be a big surprise like the Nvidia one, where half the crowd will not believe what we're doing, but it is happening. So
I would say there's nothing like this that's ever been done in blockchain ever.
no, this
Ever.
is gonna be. If you guys wanted to see adoption, this is adoption.
We're about to knock your socks off, kids. So yeah, good shit coming. Will hardware requirements stay the same in the
We just answered that basically.
It'll be close. But there will be some additional requirements for every tier node. And then of course our BAMF is a completely different style node altogether.
All right.
Can you talk about product market fit with Flux in the industry you're targeting, aka medical AI, use storage, database storage, and corporation AI search within stuff for like inventory? Okay.
The answer is yes.
All those. We're working with all those.
Yeah. So when it comes to the medical folks, they're more focused. I was going to say they're more focused on just the AI piece, but we literally got an email the other day for somebody who was asking if they can deploy on the cloud network as well. So, and that was a medical company. So we are getting the inquiries in at this point, but for the medical side of things, they're focusing mostly on the Flux AI side of things because of the privacy concerns, and that transponds to even accountancy folks, government folks. They're also interested in that technology and seeing how we utilize it. And then when it comes to storage, that's where some of the other medical companies are looking for long-term storage and alternatives to the traditionals that they have. But we're not just doing medical. We're looking at gaming. We're looking at traditional manufacturing, because manufacturing is looking at Flux AI as well, more at the Flux Intel side of things. Yeah, we're touching a lot of industries at the moment, and I know Emmanuel is running crazy in the UK and in Europe, and having a ton of interactions with a lot of companies there. So yeah, and
Yeah,
I'll show you something at the end of the day how things can how it all fits together. Flux AI with regular Flux. I have something to show at the end. That kind of shows how we bring that all together at one point.
Oh, Leaky Davy's gonna finally unveil it, isn't he?
Yeah, I think it's time.
All right, cool. All right. So yeah,
All right.
most of those sectors definitely are desperate for help. It's the exact opposite in the fintech world, right? They're usually a problem that doesn't want a solution, and then you have to force them to that solution. With the with healthcare, with different industries that don't necessarily have up to date or iterative or innovative technologies sectors, this plays well for us because they're looking for a solution, and we have a house to support it, which is really awesome.
The medical industry is a very awkward space. Basically, it's one space that goes really fast on one thing, but extremely slow on something else, right? So they're cutting edge, and at the same time, they're far behind. It's a really weird space. And if you haven't really worked in that space on the back end of things, it's really hard to comprehend. But they're literally the epiphany of let's go fast, but let's wait. And that's
So,
literally them.
yeah.
All right.
Is there any real demand in
Demand.
Flux
Yeah.
Edge for non-RTX 40, 90, 50, 90 cards? Yes. Yeah, we just had
Yep.
somebody come in today, wanted a bunch of cards. So yeah, I mean, it's like everything else, guys. Slowly on all of a sudden. I mean, we had to build this thing literally from the fucking ground up. We're different than every other project out there in what we're doing, and Edge is unique in itself. And tons of demand, tons of wanting to test it and utilize it. But it's like everything else. In a down market like this, everybody is paying attention to other shit. So our goal is to get it in their face and make sure that they understand who we are. And we've been sending out, one of the things we were working on is contacting companies directly. So our market team was tasked with constant contact engagements. And we started working with folks who maybe they bought from AWS before, or maybe, you know, and I'm going to give you some statistics that Shannon provided me. And it blew my fucking mind because I've done constant contact. As a matter of fact, in a past life, I led a direct mail facility that did direct mailing. We did a 10,000 test run, and out of the 10,000, 38% were click-throughs. That's fucking unheard of. Like that is not, and I'd be happy to share those statistics with everybody. That is not something you see every day. So we found kind of a niche where people are starting to get engaged and they're starting to plant the seeds. This is a campaign. So there'll be 5 or 6 or 7, you know, they'll receive after this. But a 36% is unheard of. The average, like a good average, is 1% click through. So I think we've hit some gold here with the way that we're going to start mining for potential customers as well. That's not the question you asked, but that's the question I'm giving you, and Flux Edge will be part of that campaign.
It's we don't focus purely on one thing, right? Like we try to incorporate everything in our marketing. And we're a small team, so we have to, you know, blanket it a little bit, the approaches. And I'm sorry for the raven in the background. But we basically try to touch on a lot of things, but we really struck a chord when it came to the campaign that Dan just mentioned. That amount of people actually looking at the email and actually going through it, that's really not easy to achieve. We live in a world where spam is a big thing. Try and differentiate yourself is big, but if the fact that we're using the right words and they're hitting, that says enough. Point in case, that medical company I was mentioning earlier, that they contacted us yesterday or the day before on an email, basically responding to that campaign.
Yeah.
So we're getting traction with that.
You think of it like this way, guys. You know, when we say these all pieces have to work together, so, you know, we're generating leads. The leads then come in. They visit our website, new website coming, right? Once they're on the website, they're going to look at our products. Product sites are coming, right? They're better, bigger and better. Marketplace, now they know what they're doing. And we're walking them through the process of becoming a customer. And they may not get to this point where they deploy, but they'll get to the point where they'll understand the value add. We get a lot of people using the calculator. Shannon keeps track of that as well. How many people went in and used the calculator? It's mind blowing. It really is. And how we didn't think of it before, I don't know. We were probably not at the right place at the right time. Our products were in beta or alpha. We got everything to release candidate now, and now we can start doing some things like this. So we have a list of almost 200,000 people. You know, C-suite business leaders, CTOs, CEOs, CFOs, and we're targeting them directly. So, you know, good shit's coming down the pike.
And things have to fall in place too, right? Like there was a lot of technology that had to be built and created. Arcane, and again, a big shout out to the guys who really built that out. Arcane is the game changer for the Flux blockchain. Being able to put anything on these machines now, knowing that we can trust these machines, knowing that that data is secure, that is huge. That one large partner that we're working with, Um, actually not a partner, more like a customer for everybody. That was a big thing for them. So the fact that they tested it on Arcane, they're happy with it. Yeah, that's a big plus. And now once the security pieces have been answered as well, we're going to start deploying. So that having might have to come sooner than later, depending on what their roadmap looks like. Trying to not disclose who we're working with here. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's okay.
I think I didn't mention anything
You're
wrong. So
good. I think they definitely get the point. So I saw it sponsored. Flux sponsored a Power Wheels drag racing team here recently. Any other plans to expand as something like junior dragsters? P.S. Really cool of you guys to get the kids involved. Yeah, all the racing sponsorships. I am doing those personally, so I'm paying for all of those out of my own pocket. Why? Because I like racing. And I think it's a great way to, just like this sassy frassy just mentioned, I think it's a good way to get people involved. I've heard more people ask questions about what is Flux. And let me tell you, in racing, there's not poor people that do racing. You know what I mean? You got to have some fucking scratch to really do it right. So
think of the gas price alone.
it's been a great engagement contact, and especially like with Cody Dennison now, he's running our NASCAR car and our truck, and the ARCA car. We actually had to create a script for him because he was getting so many questions about who Flux was that we actually had the community create a script for him to talk about it. We're going to do some more stuff. I'm going to straight up tell you, Major League Baseball is next. I've had some conversations with the Orioles, maybe the Red Sox, maybe a few other teams, but we're definitely going to see some of that rolling out probably toward the end of the year as well. So we really want to get around sports. We think that that's a ton of value add. And if you've ever been in the business world, there's really two ways to network. You go to a sports event together or you go play golf together. Strip clubs are in there too, but that's completely different. That's a completely different scenario. But two main.
That's after the golf course.
That's after, right? And I don't condone that. So don't say I didn't say. I'm not saying that's something I believe in, but people do it. So really, getting the conversation starting and getting Flux to be a household name is really what these campaigns are about. And that little sticker that I bought on that young lady's car, and she ended up winning the whole kit and caboodle, and we parked a little drag car in Victory Lane. Matt Campbell and what he's been doing, he's leading the points right now. So we're looking at a championship coming to Flux possibly. And there's some rumors about, some additional tracks, maybe going up against the World of Outlaws, all kinds of fun stuff like that. So, but make no mistake, I don't ask for the community to pay for this. I don't ask for the Influx company to pay for this. These are things that I do because I fucking love them. So if you've got recommendations, feel free to hit me up with them. I'm always looking for opportunities for people to rock the Flux logo.
It's brand recognition, right? Part of marketing sometimes is obscurity, and sometimes that really triggers people to go look what that really is, right? So, you want to basically put the name in front of people, and sometimes you don't want to give too much away what that really is. And seeing that car drive around with that big Flux on it constantly, and then I believe it's going to be in the game too, right? I think it's going to be a NASCAR racing as well.
Yeah,
in the
we're going
game.
to be. Our car will be in the NASCAR. Cody's car will be there. We'll be rocking the Flux
So
colors in the
we're
NASCAR game.
so part of marketing is and marketing can be two ways, can be very flashy in your face, boom boom boom, but can also and more subliminal is over a wider target and seeing how it sticks. We had some good results with the what was it, the UFL. We saw people asking what Flux was, and that was kind of a touch on trying to touch and feel where things are, and we had some good success there. So yeah, makes sense to put the name out there.
I'm not sure I can say his name, but we had probably one of the most cool recognitions we ever had for Flux. A NASCAR driver knows and holds Flux, and I can't say who it is, but it was pretty fucking impressive when I heard it. So got me a little excited because I was like, no shit. So we've had professional football players, we've had NASCAR drivers, we've had couple of the customers we're working with, it'll blow your mind. They're all Flux folks. You know, it's really kind of cool when
Presidents, CEOs, VPs. It's interesting to learn sometimes how higher ups in certain companies actually are really following crypto and actually participating in it, good and bad sometimes. And I get the stories of how they lost X of dollars in that meme coin, and I'm like, yeah, lesson learned. So yeah, it's kind of funny to watch sometimes. All right, we're already an hour in. Flux scam. All right.
Imagine sitting behind your computer right now, being unintelligent to the point where you honestly think Flux is a scam. I'm going to take a picture of you, Tolga, and I'm going to keep that as motivation, because people like you that come into our projects, AMA, and drop something like that, you're just a fucktard. And honestly, that you are the reason what's wrong with blockchain. So see your way out. Go buy your fucking meme coins or your shit coins, and don't come into ours anymore. So bye bye.
I often want to ask, and if he's still in the chat, I really want to know why he thinks we're a scam. Is it something? Is it a bad investment? Did he buy at a price that was higher?
I don't know. He said something
But
there. Daniel Anna Kaka Ligaman. Speak English, bro.
but like, what can we more do to prove what we're building out? Like, we're building out all of these tools. You can literally go on Flux AI and start utilizing it. You can go on Flux Edge and start utilizing it. You can go on Flux Cloud and utilize it. How many projects are there where you can literally reuse the product?
Well, you can't fix
right
stupid, Davey. You can't fix stupid.
I just wonder, like, because you should see my DM sometimes, and I think I showed you one the other day. The things that we get thrown at us while we're building every day. Every day we get up and we start working, and we work nonstop, and I don't get it sometimes. Why is it just purely looking at charts and without doing any investigation, not doing any research? I don't know.
Have you ever seen that meme where the guy's got the caved in head up here?
Yeah.
That's that guy. So let's move on.
All right.
Davey, you got time to keep it going? We got like
I got time. I looked at my calendar. I got time.
There's a shit ton of people on this thing, so let's just try to keep it going.
Yep, let's. As long as there's questions, we'll keep answering.
Greetings to the Flux community. I have been familiar with the project for more than 1 year and would like to make a mutually beneficial offer. I love mutually beneficial offers. There is a small PEP-W coin that does not have a mobile wallet. How would you like to add this coin to the Zelcore list? Yeah, I don't give a shit. Is it a token? If it's a token, it's an easy add. We can toss it in there. I don't have a problem with that.
Absolutely. Tokens are fairly easy to add.
Very easy peasy. So, reach out to us on Discord, and I'll pass
Discord or email info@runonflux.com.
Yeah, email's better. Then I won't get in trouble. So email info, yeah, because I always send everybody to Discord and then they get mad when I don't answer. So
yeah,
let's do that.
Info@runonflux.com if you want to.
If anybody
inquire.
Anybody has any recommendations or anything, even questions that didn't get answered in this AMA, you're more than welcome to email us, come into Discord and ask questions, the whole 9 yards. So,
all right.
What else we got, Davey?
Instrument to follow how much actually settles in Flux. Heard this for years. Everything will settle in Flux. Passive market making. If companies can buy with fiat, how much market cap ever rise?
Well, it's like everything else.
It's called the Explorer, and you can literally go on the Explorer and start looking at all the addresses and seeing where we purchase from.
Well, I think there's another question coming up about a Grafana chart. I think we are in the process of making like a more robust version of the home.runonflux.io.com. Yeah. And that'll essentially have some of those breakouts for you. But yeah, I mean, anything you have to have fiat. Large companies,
there's no way around that.
Yeah, large companies can't, put forth a capital budget or an operational budget with fictitious. When I might need 5,000 Flux, or I could need 100,000 Flux. I have no idea. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and just think about how that would operate in a corporate environment too, right? Like, let's say you're an IT admin, wants to host something, he has to go to his financial department and he has to go, yeah, okay, get me an account with Binance or with Qcoin or whatever exchange. First, you have to learn what an exchange is, purchase the Flux, figure out how they're going to manage that internally, deal with that, and then by the end of it, then they can actually start purchasing. So that's why we have the fiat on-ramp method. But also what was going to happen is that influx is going to bill people, and then basically influx is going to have to purchase the flux to settle, because regardless, anything that gets hosted on the cloud network has to settle in flux. There is no way around it. We can't get around that bit. If we don't put up the flux to have somebody's application running, it will not run, period. Like, we have to purchase the flux to be able to do that. There's no way around it. And you can see that address and see all the purchases being made. There's that's all transparent on the blockchain. Any rate.
All right, next. In the Flux project, you can run super nodes for 40K, if I'm not mistaken. Is it better to have one 40K node or four 10K nodes? Sincerely, Alex. Alex, I run all of the Stratus nodes myself. It's easier for me to manage. You could probably
Himself.
I don't, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I might have a guy that helps me with that.
We utilize managed services too. Like, there's no shame in that.
Yeah, no, yeah. I actually use a guy from the community helps manage them, so it's kind of nice to get those resources.
It's a question we often get, right? Like, hey, does it make sense to run a Stratus? Does it make sense to run a couple of Nimbuses, or purely the Cumulus ones? It depends. I think with PNR we might see a bit of a shift coming.
Yeah, I think and we want to see a shift because PNR is only being paid on the big boys. So, I mean, for the start, eventually I think you'll see PNR on all of them.
Yeah, there will be a dashboard for that and all that fun stuff.
Yep. So
that'll come.
Alex,
but
my preference is less management, larger nodes, but I know you can make more money probably on mid-tier and lower tier depending on how many are.
There was a website called Flux Info, I believe. I don't know if it's still running, because the person that ran that might not be around anymore.
We had one guy that was ripping his nodes down like every other week and moving it to whatever class was most.
Yeah, he was literally following what the APR was.
Wrote a script, and he would just say, okay, this week it's this. And then he'd go out and do that and let that run till profits leveled. Then he'd move off to the next one. So smart dude too. And I guarantee he made out well in the last uptick. So personally, I like the big boys. All right, Davey.
All right.
Jeff K with the fake bird sound, pretending to be outside. Yeah, he's not allowed outside.
It's a green screen.
Yeah. He's with a recording.
Quite literally a green screen.
Yes. This will be saved on YouTube and X and all that kind of stuff. Akash and Render have surged recently as Flux compared its growth and adoption to theirs. What explains the gap in market performance despite strong tech progress? It's just secular. It's a secular market. You saw Flux last year go well above and beyond where those other projects were at. And, I don't think it doesn't speak anything negative to the project. It's just how it works. Unfortunately, we live in a world where market makers make these books, and you have VCs that have participated in some of these projects, and those VCs expect to get top dollar. And you'll see a lot of times some unnatural growth from them. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm not saying that, because I really like Akash and I kind of like Render. But
it has nothing to do with the market itself. Like the utilization of it. And I know that for one of the two, I know that for a fact. And don't
get me wrong. Greg's been busting his ass. He's doing a lot of cool things over there with Akash. I'm actually working with him on some side projects for making sure DPIN is warmly received down in DC. So we've got some things happening there as well. So I think it's just secular. I would say I'm not concerned at all about the current position of Flux. I think we're in a good buy signal, and if you choose to do so, then this would be a good time to do that. Not investment advice.
Let's say it this way: if we would be panicking and not working nonstop and waking up and getting this thing going every day, If we would not have the customers in the pipeline, that would be really tough to get up every day. But knowing what we have in the pipeline and who's testing our stuff, we're not worried whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
Simple as that.
Yeah, and that's one thing when you're researching a project and you're looking to the value add they bring to the ecosystem. Do they have like a real product? Are you the speculatory yield? Right? Are you the one that we're making money off of? No, that's not the case. That's not the case at all for this project. We have all of our products are release candidates. You can go do everything today we say we can do, and now it's just a matter of getting the momentum behind it. So we Flux is different, man. Like we chose a different way at the very beginning of this project. We didn't want to pump and dump. We didn't want to abuse our community. We want them to be part of this ride with us because when you guys are successful, I'm successful. It isn't the other way around. So I think it's important to look at it that way. Flux is currently 374 in market cap. At the beginning of the year, it was 274. As of this morning, there was 3.8 million cryptos in existence. I think 374 is pretty fucking good in that grand scheme of things. So I don't pay much attention to coin market cap and rankings because coin market cap and rankings 100% can be influenced. I know that for a fact. And I'm not really going to get too worried about what ranking systems rank us at. I think we're still in a really good position. If you look at what's ahead of us, 80% of it are shit coins. I mean, fucking fart coin. Like, seriously, what the fuck are these people doing? You know what I mean? And somebody's going to get caught holding that bag. We've seen projects come and we see projects go. We've seen the Terra Lunas. We've seen all these projects who were the end all be all. And here we are fucking working our ass off, still doing what we set out to do. And if that's not a project, something you want in your project, then go find a fucking meme coin or a shit coin. That's all I can tell you. I understand there will be able to buy with fiat, but if they can buy with fiat, then there's always only will be sell pressure.
No, that's not how that works.
Uh-uh.
I don't get that statement.
Exact opposite of that. If they pay with fiat, it settles in flux. This comes into where I talked about passive market making. Now you have to actually be making enough to make a dent. $100,000 is not going to make a dent in our market. The market makers would eat that instantaneously. So once we get into the millions, then that really starts to affect, overall value. So we don't promise anything with price. We never have, and we never will. So that's just the way it is. It does settle in cash. Most of it's done through OTC as to not affect the market because there's really two ways to look at this. People that affect the market and drive the price up, they are taking advantage of their community because they are missing the opportunity to buy it at a lower level and then move to a higher level. So market manipulation works both ways. So, and you got to think about that. And we don't do any of that. We're not fucking in the business to do that. The price is what the price is.
Oh, basically, you're skipping the exchange piece, right? With the fiat payment system that we have. So instead of going to an exchange and buying it and all that fun stuff, we're making it easier. My thinking here is that by making it easier for folks to be able to host something, to try it out, even if it's small amounts, but a lot of small amounts do add up at one point. So I think this is the way forward anyways. And ultimately, if people do take the time to buy the Flux, they often get discounted. So there's a positive thing to utilize Flux, and that kind of ties in with some of the other things here that I saw.
The irony of people that complain about price is it blows my fucking mind because these are the same people that when Flux was at $4 were saying it's too expensive to deploy a node.
Yeah,
like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, seriously, like you got to take the emotion out of all of it. It's like,
well, we see that we see that with Bitcoin too, right? Like then when Bitcoin was over 100,000 not too long ago, they were like, oh, it's never going to come back to here. And then it drops down. Oh, look, it's all over. Like, never buy. But if you would have bought at 80,000 where it dropped back to, and you're still holding now, you're up 28,000. So saying
Yeah.
like if you focus purely on the price, guys, you're missing the bigger picture. Like for real. Like if that's the only reason you're purely want to invest and that's the only thing you're looking at. I'm not going to give you investment advice, but it's the same with stocks. If you don't look at what you're buying in a stock in a company, and you don't know what these guys are building, you're basically purely looking at the chart. You're setting yourself up for failure. Period. We're trying to do everything we can. We're being transparent. We're doing these AMAs. We have announcements all over the place. You can literally go in the Discord and ask me questions. You can ask Dan questions. You don't have that luxury with companies in the traditional way. You can ask us anything, and we'll probably answer it too if we have our Discord open because we're pretty busy. But even if we don't answer straight away, we will answer your question. And at that point, you can make your own decision: is this worth the investment or not? I personally think it is because this is purely what I do now. Is purely influx. We get up every day and we work and we build out and at the end of the day we see progress and we see what we've created and I see things in skunkworks that we're doing out, but I see Alex's team at the edge things coming along and creating new technologies where folks that have been in the space for 30 plus years. And SUSE was the pioneer on Linux enterprise. When these guys come to us and say, hey, can you teach us how you did this particular piece with our software because we don't know, that tells you something on what the technology we're building out and how we're building it out. It's just a matter of time at this point. Just a matter of time. Oh, we
How do
did
you
that one already.
how do you see Flux becoming more sustainable in the future with all energy compute requirements? We kind of talked about that earlier.
Yeah, we tackled that. We tackled that.
Flux, and for all intents and purposes, Flux is probably one of the greenest blockchains out there because we're actually using proof of use work on the backside to allow people to actually do like legitimate shit. If you want to learn more about that, you can visit us, Flux Carbon, on our website, runonflux.com, and then you check out Flux Carbon, and it'll break down some initiatives we have there as well.
All right.
Oh,
And we tackled these.
Yeah, well, you didn't unstar them, Davey.
No, I'm just going through them. Give me 1 sec. All right. Next question.
Most important AMA. Why aren't you in Vegas?
Because we're actually working.
Because we had to make a decision. Both of us were booked, and we had all this shit going on, and we had something come in that was, we had to be here for it. We had to go through it because it was a game changer. So that's why we stayed, and that's why we're not going to jet set and run around pretending we're big shits at the Bitcoin conference. Instead, we're going to get the work done. So, but I miss you, buddy. I miss you.
Well, and one of the things that I noticed, for instance, at Consensus last 2 weeks ago, it was a blockchain conference, and I found 2 blockchain projects. That was it.
Yeah.
Everything else.
The problem with the Bitcoin conference, and I've been to like almost damn near.
We did the last 3 years, I think.
And the one thing Davey and I picked up immediately when we walked in there is there's a lot of talk about building on Bitcoin. Problem is it's all centralized entities. So, it was hard pressed it was great opportunity for us to walk around and talk about people about Flux. If you love Bitcoin, you should love Flux too. And this is why. But they're mostly maxis. So they don't really, if it's not Bitcoin, they'd give 2 flying fucks about what you're telling them. If it's not Bitcoin, they don't want anything to do with it. It's just a shitcoin. So value add wise, probably not the best one for us.
Yeah, and Action, just tell me for real, like how many things don't you see like boosts with tax avoidance, banks, onboarding, offboarding, and then of course all the typical big mining data center type of things. It is to the point that it's really not as attractive for any altcoins. I'll be very honest. And Consensus was the same last week. That was really actually let down with the fact that there was only 2 blockchain projects. You know who the bigger booths had? Google and Amazon. That were the 2 big booths. And I actually, then if you get complaints, I actually was sent away from the Google booth because I was kind of hampering on their style there. by pointing out that they were not Web3, so they were not too happy with me. But that's another story.
What are the requirements for other projects to be added to your very handy wallet? Thanks in advance. We do it two different ways. You can pay for it. I think for a token, it's like $1,500 or something like that, and you'll get the whole marketing package with it and all that kind of shit. Or you can add it yourself. We have some open source pieces where you basically build it in and you can add it yourself. We are in the process of working to open source Zelcore as well. So you'll be able to work it the whole way through. The only thing that's not open source on Zelcore is how the transactions are formed. And we just went through an audit on every platform and we figured out what we have to do to be able to provide that out. It's at a good time where, it's time to pull the reins off of it and let the community have at it. So you can do that, or you can come to Discord and you can proposition one of the either me or Davey or any one of the team members. And if we like it and it makes sense, we're not going to add your fucking pig meme or your frog meme or whatever it is, but we will definitely, you can pay for that if you're adding those. But if it's something of value add and we know it's value add, we'll add it.
We've added coins because we saw value in them without having that community involved. But if you're interested in positioning your coin to us or presenting it to us, info@runonflux.com. Simple as that.
Thanks for your answers. Just want to say, love you all. Just need to ask a question. Keep doing you. FYI, not complain about price, run many nodes, and still DCA in Flux. Thank you, Sergeant Slugger. You're a good dude, man. You've been around for a long fucking time, bro. So thank you for everything you do for us. I see you on X posting about us and all kinds of shit. We love you too, man.
I think we got a lot of PP folks in the chat today. Saw another one here. Yep, same thing.
Yeah, same. Yeah, especially if it's proof of work. I'm all about that. Almost any proof of work project will get added if they come to us. Because we tend to favor projects that add value. And by the way, the majority of the projects, and we didn't even talk about our new exchange Fusion X that's releasing. Maybe we'll have to have another AMA and demo to show how that works and stuff like that. But we got a pretty killer fucking exchange coming online very, very shortly, like within the next few weeks. Hi, Scotty Too Hottie. Scotty's on here. He's my brother. He's my brother from another mother.
Have you considered setting up a DAO-style voting system so the community could fund marketing initiatives with their own Flux? Many would be happy to support visibility efforts and me the first. There is the DAO is there. Like you can put that question forward.
Yeah, you can do it today. If you look at the XDAO 2.0 that was recently released, go into Discord and go up to announcements and you scroll up to you see XDAO 2.0. There's actually a template sheet you can fill out and submit for funding. So,
he wants to fund himself and other communities to help fund. So he basically wants to put his own Flux to work, is what he's saying here.
Come talk to us. I love to see people do shit like that. So yeah, come talk to us. Hit up Betty. You can hit Shannon up as well in Discord, and she'll take you DM, and we'll talk about it. But thank you for that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And just so you know, there's a lot of folks out there in their day-to-day that are basically presenting Flux in their own companies. I know for a fact that there's been a couple who actually really got into that and started learning and presenting a Flux to their own companies, and we're working with some of these folks. So there's different ways of marketing, right? The simplest way of doing marketing is mouth to mouth, is basically literally talking about it yourself within your close environment and teaching folks around you. That is worth more than putting your own Flux up for grabs, and I'd rather you do that at this point. But if you want to, we can definitely have a conversation. Again, info@runonflux.com. Send the question there, and we'll get you in touch with the folks who do the marketing.
All right, that's all of our questions, Davey. Unless somebody else has anything else, real quick, they can throw up. Flux Labs, could you share insights on how Flux ecosystem encourage integration with wallets like Zelcore to support diverse projects? Oh, we're high. Our incubation model, our labs model, which has become Flux Enterprise, essentially. They're always looking for opportunities like that. And as a matter of fact, Flux Runner, they came to us with an idea. They built it out themselves, and in the end, we bought their company. So, I mean, bottom line is if you're adding value add, we're going to note that. And Onar came on board, and he's been a pretty influential piece of the Flux team now. So build something cool and see what happens. That's what I'm saying. All right. I think that's it, Davey. Oh, wait. We have... I have written more questions in the pinned messages on Discord. Could you answer it?
Yeah.
Collateral halving will be later this year. It will coincide with the release of progressive node rewards and our halving of the actual Flux asset. Those three things will probably happen within a 3 to 4 month window altogether.
Give me 1 sec here. I'm getting some of the questions from the Discord as well. I'm looking if we haven't answered them yet.
Reminder to everybody, we've got a lot of people on here. If you just go to X, if you like and you reshare, we'll continue to drive this up. This will be recorded. It'll be on both platforms, YouTube. I think we're on Rumble. I think we're on all of them. We're on all of them. When Flux Tattoo. Damn it! Little Stash, the next time you come to the U.S., I'll get it. But you gotta come with me, okay?
All right. One more thing.
Is this a book? Oh, leaky. Okay, go
ahead. All right. So people are always asking, like, how do you guys build the economy out? This is a tool that's basically being created. It's kind of a side project, skunkworks thing on my end. I'm always looking for ways to showcase what our network can do on the cloud side, what our Flux AI can do, what our Edge can do. So these are all three together. So this is using compute on Flux Edge, so it's running on somebody's computer. It utilizes Flux AI for generating the tweets, and it's containerized, so it's running on the cloud. So all three. So this is going to be a product. It needs to be polished still. But basically, what this will do is it'll allow us to folks who use Twitter and for their marketing campaigns and all that, and be interactive, come up with clever tweets. And I'm not going to go too deep in this. We'll do a proper AMA when this gets released. But just so you guys can see, and just so you know, it does work. It's not a screenshot. Let me. There you go. So what this does is it showcases, again, Flux AI. So that's utilizing somebody's computer on Flux Edge. It uses Flux Edge compute power. It uses the cloud to run this on, and you'll be able to connect this with your own Twitter account. We're going to add more media platforms on this as well, social media platforms. So this will become its own entire media platform. This is a side thing. This is not our main core, but this is just to showcase what we can do with all the Flux products in one particular product.
Our skunk works within the team itself extends to everyone. So Davey has skunk work projects. Trunk has them. I have them. We all have them that we're working on. As a matter of fact, it's kind of a requirement. And the one thing I think Davey's being a bit bashful about or not saying is the fact that this is going to be pennies on the dollar cheaper than any other social media management platform and include all platforms for management. Marketing folks out there will gobble this the fuck up because we've tried. I shit you not, and Shannon can probably post in line 4, maybe 5 social media managers, and they're dog shit. They just don't work right half the time. The scheduling piece is issues. I mean, it's just problems. This is rock solid. It's 100% decentralized across the board. utilizes Flux Edge, Flux OS. All those components are built right in. And, and I'm not trying to take any thunder out of Davy's sale, but this took about 2 weeks to build. So where else can you go do something like that? This is a turnkey product. You could start advertising it today. You could start selling it today. So people should be doing this. They should be doing this. That's a good one, Davey.
Yeah, it's just showcasing what we can do, what you can do when you start utilizing our products, right? So I wanted to do something different than our traditional, because I'm always talking about medical stuff and more big enterprises. I wanted to showcase that Flux AI can do way more than that. And the guys create their own little skunk works. But I just wanted to showcase the potential that you have with this tool. So if you have something and you use AI for a lot of things, try Flux AI. You just put your own thing in. We even built it so, and I hate to say it, but we even built it so that even if you use OpenAI, you can still leverage this stuff. But then you have to deal with OpenAI's terms of services and all that. So that's a different story. And one of the things that I thought was pretty cool, show you quickly. Thanks. I can pick different models. So the more models we add to Flux AI, the more I can pick from. And then it basically does its own thing. Let's generate another one.
And
So now I'm using a different model.
We've already been using this model somewhat on the Run on Flux, and it does generate excellent content. So very cool.
All right.
Any other questions?
An hour and a half in.
All right. Do you have the questions from Discord? We'll answer that, and then we'll.
I can't get them all in there. They're too long. They're too lengthy. But I can just quickly read them.
Yeah, just read it and give me the general crux of it.
So sustainability of the Flux token ecosystem. So we might have touched on some of these things, but anyway. So today, Flux tokens are used mainly for node staking. Relatively narrow use case with limited demand. As the ecosystem grows, data centers, the Flux marketplace, data listing, trading, AI compute, rentals, distribute storage, DeFi, etc. Will you introduce additional Flux token payment and incentive mechanisms to cement its role at the core of the entire ecosystem?
All of those products already have Flux as a primary payment mechanism.
Yeah, Flux Edge,
Flux OS, Flux Edge, Flux Drive. I mean, all of them have a Flux is preferably, especially anybody that deploys on the home.runonflux.com. It's all Flux, right? They do have some fiat payment mechanisms there as well. But I mean, everything we do, you want to run nodes, you need Flux. You want to, deploy applications, you're going to need Flux. You want to run Flux AI, you're going to need Flux. Or you're going to have to get fiat to get Flux. But either way, that settlement mechanism is all based in Flux. That's the truest definition of a utility asset ever. And that's exactly what Flux is. It is the gas model that makes the world go round.
Yeah, and even if you paid for Flux Edge, for instance, if you want to get compute power, you pay with Flux, you get a small discount to start off, and at the same time, that Flux then gets paid to the guys who provide the compute power. So it's all circular. Same for the nodes. I've noticed that a lot of people think Flux is purely just the master nodes, the node operations. There's so much more to it. And again, a little bit of research into that, but Flux is at the center and it drives all the things around it. That's how we operated within Influx. That's always in the back of our minds. How can we get more use case for Flux itself? And I guess I just showed you that social media platform. That's all Flux driven, and basically that means that all paid with Flux.
And there's about 10 of those skunkwork projects in queue. I can't show you the one I'm working on yet, but it's pretty fucking cool. So yeah, I mean that the initiative internally in Flux, and anybody from the team can testify to this, is we want you to go out. And matter of fact, I'll tell you part of one. I have several that I'm working on. We're going to do basically a bot that runs on top of Flux that will facilitate all of our poker games for us. So no more standing in queues or trying to get in or anything like that. It's going to assign tables. It's all going to run on Flux. One of the guys from the team is helping build it out, and we're pretty pumped about it, man. Like but you have to think in the grander scheme. We're going to use it for poker, but you could parlay this into anything, right? You could have blackjack tournaments. You could have all kinds of crazy stuff, as long as the regulatory guidance from wherever you're at. You play at your own fucking risk, right? Know your regulatory pieces.
Yep. Boom, 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 boom. Anything else? Going once, going twice.
I like this one. Gotta love how Dan's sitting there and have a nice smile on his face. Dan knows something, and I would love to know what he knows now. I would love for you all to know what I know now. I'm not gonna lie, and when you do, I'll be happy to get it off my fucking head, right? Yeah, I mean,
let's say it this way. Before the NVIDIA thing, we knew that was in the pipelines, and we knew that was going into that, and we basically told you guys constantly, like, we got a big partner coming. It's coming. It's coming. We held through on that one. It's the same with the one that we're working on now. It's gonna shake up the space because it's true adoption, which we always been advocating for. That's coming. Again, they already tested it. They gave the thumbs up, which is a big. Even if that doesn't go through at the end, just them saying the technology is good. We love what we're seeing. That by itself is a big plus. And they're putting the work in. They're willing to work with us on all the things, the policies, and all that fun stuff around it. But yeah, we're on track. We're on track. That's all I can say.
So for my closing, I'm going to do a pep talk because everybody was down. They were talking, price this,
a Pepe talk or a pep talk?
Not Pepe. No, we're not. I'm not Pepe in anything. Although I'm interested in that mineable asset, so I'll have to check that out. Look, we are in probably the biggest paradigm shift we've ever seen in technology. We are finally getting to the point where blockchain is becoming what it was initially set out to be. And that's a game changer, not only for the financial sector, but for all of the tech sectors together. This is our opportunity to be part of something. When Christopher Columbus sailed the seas, he didn't do it because it was easy. He did it because it was fucking there. And we're doing it. It's not easy, but we're doing it because it needs to be done. We're planning that new world. We're building that new infrastructure. We're adding the easy onboard components from Web 2 to Web 3. And as I've always said, there'll be two forms of adoption. You'll be through attrition. You'll wear them down to where there's no other solution but to use a product like Flux. Or there will be a unique event that will trigger. You call it a black swan, you can call it whatever it is, but that event will trigger the demand and the need for Flux. It will become, maybe it's Canada banning X. Who knows? I've talked about that. Look at the EU. Look at the EU and the shit show it's becoming. They're sending people to jail for fucking memes. You don't think they're coming after your data? You don't think they're coming after your data centers? They 110% are. And the only way to get ahead of that and provide something to our children that isn't debt, that isn't slavery, we have to get to the holy grounds. We have to get to where this product sets us free. And I truly believe in my heart of hearts, and I will die on this hill, that this is the way we will go in the future, and we will need it. Whether it's that attrition or whether it's that black swan event that promotes it, we have to put the control back in the hands of the people. And if you're here for the right reasons, if you're here to be part of that ride and that technology development, you came at a perfect fucking time. If you're here for the number go up, you're at the wrong project, and you may want to go look at something else. I never said that Flux would be easy. I've been very transparent about this from the day that Flux was minted. This will be hard. It will be an uphill battle. It will be a struggle. It will be us having to work together as a team, as a community, as one entity working this forward. And we can do it, but you have to get behind it. That means you have to and be engaged in social media. You have to participate. We've got people that come in and do transcriptions. We've got people that build products on top of Flux. You have to pick up and actually do the work. This isn't a project where you're going to shove a shit ton in and walk away from it and come back. You have to be participatory. And if we do this together as a team, we will be the end-all be-all for what becomes DeepEnd. So that's up to you. This chapter has not been written yet. it is up to you to pen those words, to put them to paper, and to take us to the next level. So we will do, and I can tell you, I dedicated my life to this. This is my legacy project. This is what I believe in as a person, right? And I've taken my lumps over the years. Trust me, I take them all the fucking time. But one thing I always do is I keep that initiative at my heart. The reason why I'm here, the first day I ever read the Cypherpunk Manifesto, it spoke to me. And this project fucking speaks to me the same way Bitcoin speaks to me. And we will all go out. Every one of the team members on this will be here for the foreseeable future. We'll keep grinding. We'll keep working. We'll keep delivering. And we're relying on you to be part of that push. So I'm off my soapbox now. Thank you guys for coming today. I really did appreciate it. All excellent fucking questions. Please share this, like it, retweet it, Instapin it, Snaptograms it, whatever the fuck it is. Just do it and help us get the word out there. I appreciate all of you. Davey, play us out.
Oh, why do they lie? Yeah. There's only one way to go, and that's Web 3.0. Don't be evil, Flux freeing all the people, fluxing on them now like a cheat code. Flux gon' keep you from a breach though. And you know we Web 3.0. Don't be evil, Flux freeing all the people, fluxing on them now like a cheat code. Flux gon' keep you from a breach though. And you know we Web 3.0. I know we fighting these corporate tyrants. They try to silence, but we can see they tried to censor our speech. They want no privacy. At night I can't sleep, cause my data, they gonna breach. Don't be evil, Flux freeing all the people, fluxing on them now like a cheat code. Flux gon' keep you from a breach though. And you know we Web 3.0. Don't be evil, Flux freeing all my people, fluxing on them now like a cheat code. Flux gon' keep you from a breach though. And you know we Web 3.0. And you know we Web 3.0. And you know we Web 3.0.